Boy, baby girl, baby everything. Hey there, Team Flyer. How's it going? So welcome back, wherever it is that you are now, driving, cleaning, lounging in bed. I'm so glad you're here. All right, so today's episode is a little story, a little truth, and a lot of feeling, as always. It was one of those days that felt like a movie, full of deep talks, full stomachs, wide smiles, and some unexpected tears. So I was out with my partner and a close friend, and just three of us in a really cozy spot called Novela. And we haven't been, imagine this warm lighting, delicious food that hugs your soul, staff who greet you like you've been friends for years, and music that makes you want to grab the mic, believe me, and just belt out your favorite throwback. Yeah, that kind of vibe. So anyways, we were sitting there, plates half full, hearts wide open, talking about love, singlehood relationships, the weird pressure society throws at us, and how we're all just trying to navigate it without losing ourselves. You know, the kind of convo that shifts between therapy level honesty and like, should I plan a trip to Tokyo vibes? Yeah, that kind. And you know what? Everything felt safe until it didn't. At one point, I excused myself to the bathroom, and I don't know, it hit me. Tears. Right there. Just me and my reflection, and this heavy wave of emotion rolling in and out of nowhere. Not because of anything my people said or did. In fact, they are amazing and wonderful and magical. Goodness gracious me. Like, relationships, friendships, they're hard work. You have to choose to be there. And when you choose to be there and the other person chooses to be there, magic. So it was something else, something louder. And so blah, blah, blah. And so as I stood there or sat there, whatever, listening to them talk about their wins, their work, their growth, that familiar fear crept in. Fear that I wasn't doing enough. Fear that I couldn't keep up. Fear that eventually they'd outgrow me, leave me behind. Oof. Yep, that one. So when I got back to the table, I smiled and laughed, and I kept it moving, but that feeling didn't just disappear. Later that night, I flipped through some of my therapy notes, and it clicked. It wasn't just a fear of falling behind. It was fear of abandonment. And not because of my friend or a partner in that moment. Those two are solid. It goes deeper than that. It was rooted in past burns, in moments that I felt left out or let down or just simply forgotten. Moments from years ago and even not so long ago, even when I felt that I wasn't worth holding on to. It just hit me. So, the wild part of all this, I know those fears aren't always rational. I know blah, my goodness. I know that they are old ghosts showing up in a new room. But the feelings, they're real. The tears, oh my goodness, they're real. That inner voice whispering, you're not enough, still real. Ugh. So anyways, here's the thing. Like Luca says, because you know I love Luca and Pixar and Disney, Silenzio Bruno. That's the reminder I gave myself to quiet those moments, to check on the story that I'm telling myself. And more importantly, to be honest about it. Because that's what real friendship needs. Honesty, vulnerability, even when it's awkward. And it's almost always awkward when it comes to feelings. Even when it stings a little. And this one really stings. That's how we grow. That's how we get free. I sat with those feelings. I didn't shove them down. I didn't shame myself for crying. And I reminded myself, you're not falling behind. You're not too much. You're not alone. In other words, let's turn those negatives into positive, baby girl, baby boy, baby everything. You are right where you're meant to be. You are more than enough. And you definitely have company right next to you. And if I learned anything lately, it's this. If you want your friendships, your relationship, your self, your space self to thrive, you've got to show up with your whole heart, your whole darn heart, cracks and all. That's the point. That's the magic right there. So yeah, it started with the food. and the good vibes ended up with a lot of soul excavation in the bathroom. And not the bathroom, also at our table. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. My goodness gracious. And if these reminders weren't enough for myself, with myself, whether that's therapy based, whether that's because I want to grow as a person and I make sure to check in on myself, because I allowed also myself to talk to my friend and being like, and she's a new friend, but she's solid. And I was like, you know what? This is happening right now. And we talked about it and we hung out a bunch of times after, because that's life. If all this wasn't enough, if you're watching the YouTube video of this episode, I went to watch 6 again, and not only was I front row, I freaking met them, and I cried happy tears, knowing that you just gotta keep going. We just gotta keep going. We talked about mental health, we talked about self-love, we talked about getting back up and going and living our dreams. We gotta keep going. And the very next day I was at vocal corps, because of course singing, not the greatest, because I was very sore, my voice was sore, but still I was singing my heart out in the very best way, and we're gonna keep on going with these feelings. And believe me, my upcoming concert, like, those songs hit deep, and there's one in particular that made me bawl my eyes out because of that fear of abandonment, because it brought back all those feelings. And the moment that I sat with those tears and sat with the song, and I'm like, okay, this is the one that we're singing. Okay, let me deal with it first. And it took a few weeks, but now I sing it like nothing, which is absolutely beautiful to see. And if that wasn't enough, the very next day I met Anakinna, a Venezuelan pop band that I also got to be front row at, and I also met, and we talked about self-help and self-love and the power of performing and the power of keep on going. Isn't that life beautiful? Isn't it freaking adorable? Thank you, Team Flyer. Thank you, dear listener. Thank you so much for listening, for listening to me process all this out loud. Mistakes and all, who cares? We keep them in because we're human beings. If you ever feel like that, like you were falling behind or not enough or quietly panicking, while everyone seems to have it together, just know you're definitely not the only one. We all do it. And it doesn't mean that you're broken. It just means that you're human. And that's more than enough. All right, y'all. Until next time, hug tighter, love stronger, always believe. Be kind to yourself. Be honest with your people. And remember, silencio Bruno. Cheers, baby boy, baby girl, baby everything.